All right, y'all, we're back for another episode of Get in the Ring with your girl, Big Play Ray. And I have a very awesome guest today,
Coach D Stringer.
Coach D Stringer. We got a good conversation for y'all today, y'all. So before we get into it, I want you to introduce yourself, tell the people where they can find you and who you are.
Well, my name is Coach Stringer. You can find me on all social media platforms at Coach D Stringer or at my nonprofit link at Action on Mercy, actiononmercy.com. We're on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, all the search engines you can find.
Action, no mercy.
Action on Mercy.
So I was gonna ask you about that later on, but since we're already here, what is Action No Mercy? Where'd you get that from? I mean, I
Oh,
kind of know
man.
what it is, but where did that come from? The name itself.
So the name itself, when I played college basketball, I'm not gonna say the year because I'm tell my age. I actually played at a JUCO in Alabama, and they released me my sophomore year. And at that time, I thought that I wasn't gonna have a second chance. So I got another full ride scholarship at a school in Tennessee, and I promised myself that every time I stepped on the court, I was gonna give everybody action and no mercy. So I kind of live by that, die by that. Kind of my motto. So I discovered my nonprofit, and everything that I pour into myself, I pour into my nonprofit.
Okay, so let's talk about that nonprofit, Action No Mercy. What is the nonprofit?
So the nonprofit is designed to help student athletes go to college. We help with the recruitment process. We have over 1,000 coaches we work with from all divisions, from JUCO to D1. We help with mentorship and mental health resources. So we kind of give back and help those who are maybe overlooked or don't have the resources. And recently we were able to start our professional men's and women's basketball team. So we have a different couple of, umbrellas to help the community, not just the kids now, to help, grown men and grown women go to the next step as well.
Okay, so normally when someone says professional, and we're speaking of basketball, correct?
Correct.
We're thinking NBA, WNBA. So explain to me, you say you all now have professional basketball teams. Explain that to me.
So we have a men's team, we have a women's team, and by professional, anything that you do on a professional standpoint is a professional mind frame. So what we do is we are independent. We don't join leagues. It just doesn't make sense to us and what we do. So we design our own schedule. We have our own marketing team, and we really put these players in positions to play and get seen. We throw out their stats, just like with the kids. They got stats, the media, the game tape. Every game is recorded, and we link them up to an agent overseas. We currently have a player that's getting ready to go to the G League. So, we're getting those doors is opening. We got a young lady that's actually on a flight right now, headed to go overseas. She's our first player to go overseas. So just trying to get those opportunities to, again, now adults that never got the opportunity or never had the chance to explore their full potential.
You said G League?
G League.
See, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, that's right under the NBA frame. So
Okay.
you got NBA, you got G League, and you got overseas and all those other different things that people don't know about.
Exactly, and that's why you're going to educate them today, girl. That's what we're going to do today.
For sure, for sure.
So, okay, you said G League. I've heard of D1. Now, I'm a little ignorant in this aspect. I know D1 is like top tier college.
Yes.
Is it? Okay. And you said when you played college ball, you made these promises, and that's how the Action No Mercy came about. Where did you start with ball? I know it didn't start at college. So.
Oh no, so don't laugh. So I originally wanted to be a rapper. So when I was growing up, I would do all talent shows. I used to get booked at these teen clubs, and I was like, I'm gonna be a rapper. My mom was quick to be like, nah, you ain't rapping. Like, you gonna figure it out by yourself. So she put me into sports, and I didn't want to play basketball. I wasn't good. I was a late bloomer. I didn't really spread my wings and start learning and loving the game to like 7th grade. So
You said 7th?
Seventh grade.
That's not bad.
Yeah, but the kids I was going against, they would, they
They
could dunk
started.
at that age.
Yeah, they was at 3 years old at home training. Like this.
Absolutely. So I had that late start, and I fell in love with it. And basketball saved my life. So I just poured all into the game of basketball. So I really started in middle school. I fell in love with it, and to this day, I'm just embedded to it. So
All right, help me understand the transition of, especially since you say you were a late bloomer.
yeah,
So basketball was introduced to you pretty much junior high. Then you went into high school. You must have been kind of pretty good by high school, at least midway, because you said you had some full ride scholarships to college.
yeah.
Explain the transition from high school to college to pro.
Well, high school, I was pretty good. I wouldn't sit here and say I was the best of the best. I was pretty
Okay.
good. I started on the JV team, played on the freshman team, but what held me back was my grades. So my grades didn't allow me to, go to that varsity that varsity team until like
What subject had you tripped up?
all of them. I was only passing lunch. I was only passing lunch.
It's always a story, ain't it?
Yeah, so I wasn't focused with school. So I learned very quickly, like if I can't get it done in the classroom, then I can't play. So at that time I was getting in trouble. Everybody has a story of like what made them. I was getting in trouble. I was getting suspended, all those things. So my junior year is when I got that humble check. Like, you think you popping, I'm gonna show you better. So I got sat down for the damn near the whole season. And then senior year was my outbreak. I started to get some looks, started to get some scholarships, and I was like, if this is it, this is it. I gotta go to school.
You
So
gotta get it together.
I got my grades together. I ran for class senator. I strived to get a 3.0. I graduated. So that was the turning point. My junior year was the turning point of me locking in and being what I needed to be to go to college.
So everyone that's watching cannot see behind the scenes. Mom is here as well. Mom probably has more of a story based on what she just said.
Absolutely.
But we're going to keep interviewing Coach Stringer, though. Coach D. Stringer, we're going to stick with that. Poor Mom. Thank you, Mom. Appreciate you, Mom. So what were some of those struggles? And I'm asking this because you're dealing with the youth now,
yes.
Correct? As well as your professional teams. You're dealing with the youth. I see that you've helped, is it 125 plus?
Yes.
Go to college? Let's talk about that. And help keep 60 out of prison.
Yes, 60 men out of jail.
We got to talk about that because our community, we need to hear this.
Nah, for sure. I mean, for real, COVID changed the impact that we made with these kids. During COVID, I realized that we could not do anything but stroll and click and be on social media. And at this time, I was in St. Louis. So I had a gym that I was renting out in the city in the heart of St. Louis. I don't know if you know about St. Louis and the culture out there, but there's a lot of kids in desperate need of help. So I got that gym, and I was bringing kids in every day, training them. Had a camera in there, and I would record all their highlights, all their mixtapes. Probably was like one of the first coaches that was doing that in St. Louis. I used to host like open gym things just to have the kids out of trouble. They can't go to school.
Right. Give them something constructive to do.
Yeah, so I was doing that, and it just blew up. That's when the nonprofit actually blew up. So I used to bring college coaches in to see these kids work out. And I sent my first kid during COVID. So I coached AAU back in St. Louis. So I was able to send my whole first year of kids to college. They're actually out of school now, but I'm actually wearing one of their shirts, So
Talk about
he's in St. Louis, so this is his brand. But we start sending kids quickly to school in St. Louis, and with that, every year I will take like 20 to 25 kids, just go help them. We'll go out to their games, we'll go to visits with them, we'll fly out. I flew to Boston with a kid just to kind of get them exposure to the campus and meet these coaches, and it just year after year, just more kids. And when I moved back to Atlanta 2 years ago, when I started my pro team, I'm like, these big men, you think they just so hard and so angry and timid, and they opened up to me. So I was learning so much about the struggles of mental health, not having family, not knowing how to escape the anger. So with that, these are people that could have been in jail. I gave them a platform to play basketball. So every week they had weight training, they had mental health check-ins, they had practice. So when they could have been out doing whatever they was doing.
Mental health check-ins.
Yeah, we did a lot of that. Shout out to Paradise Smoothies. He was one of the guys that came and talked to these men, and they could have been locked up. But we had them so busy. Every week we played at least 52 games our first year. So they had no choice but to work through their 9 to 5, tend to their kids, or be in the gym.
So 52 games in 1 year. That's every week, literally.
And we played I think I gave a week, like 2 or 3 weeks off. I don't believe in sitting down. If you tell me, hey, coach, I want to go here. Now in my mind, I'm holding you to a standard. If I don't get
this
you,
is how you get there.
So I had them in the gym, and they hated me, but they got better, and they got to where they need to be.
What were the mental health check-ins like?
Oh man, we used to sit in circles. As a black woman, you can only do so much to service these men. I used to bring people in to talk to them. Like I had a fitness trainer that talked to him about his struggles. I had a couple of our sponsors come in. They would sit and talk for hours just about things that I would not even have thought of, from abuse to neglect to rejection to not being able to see their kids to not having a job. Those kind of things were just
at the forefront.
Yeah, they had to talk about it. We were sitting in rooms for hours. So, basketball was one thing, and it got real. You had to deal with your emotions. You couldn't hide from it. So they dealt with that.
You brought it to the forefront. And that really helps an individual in general if you can people say face your demons, but it don't have to be a demon.
Yeah.
You know, we have struggles. We've all been hurt in some kind of way, and if you can be honest with yourself about that, there's so much more you can accomplish.
For sure.
So that's kudos to you and your
to my
team.
too. So even with the mental health things, I'll talk to you first about it because I've never even talked about this. You know, a lot of times I talk about mental health to these kids and these athletes is because I done been down a lot of paths. You know, I tell people all the time, you know, when you go out, everybody's quick to be talking about the drinks they have, and people laugh at me and they think I'm joking. I drink mocktails. I don't drink alcohol because I've seen what happens when you drink. You know, when you're drinking and driving, I've seen that dark side. And for me, if I can help these kids understand that a lot of things aren't cool, they're gonna do what they want to do. But if they can understand the story of people that's talking about life and they can understand it's really something you went through, I want them to know it's real.
They can learn from.
Yeah.
If you can learn from someone else's mistakes, I feel like I'm gonna make my mistakes, but I'm really keen on observation.
Yeah.
And I understand that we can take the same path and the outcome can be different.
Absolutely.
But in certain situations, I'm like, she touched that stove and she have a blister on her hand. So what I'm not gonna do.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so you said you also played pro. What team did you play for?
So I played on a semi-pro team. We originally started in Auburn, so I played out there for I think a year. This was my first year out of college. I got a contract to play in Greece, but I didn't go. So I figured you're not gonna make the same money here. So I tried out for that team, made that team, and then they moved to Missouri. So it was the Midwest Flyers. I played there for 3 years. I did not enjoy it.
You did not enjoy
it?
I didn't expect it.
No, I didn't enjoy it.
Why not? What happened there?
It just, for me, again, being an adult, that's why I say when people play on my team, you got to really want something out of this. Because being an adult and you're not being paid the dollar amount that you want, and you can get a job and do these things, you got to invest real effort to do these things. And for me, I felt like I was going 110, working out, staying true to my nutrition, my diet, and all those things, and then the reward wasn't what it was. My coach was married to the star point guard. I didn't get the development. I was the only kid on the team at the time that didn't go D1. So I was somebody that was supposed to be getting developed, and I didn't get that. So for me, it wasn't an enjoyment, So that's why I stopped playing. I start looking at the kids like, this is something that you should be teaching these kids young, so they don't have to worry about their development at that age. Yep. So I fell in love with coaching at that point. I didn't, those years I did invest. I'm appreciative because moving to St. Louis, I made a difference there.
Gotcha.
So I
it was worth it.
Yeah, playing, everybody has their time when they love it, but that ball does stop dripping one day, and it stopped dribbling for me, and I had to figure out how can I still live within basketball, and that's what.
That's what it was. It's kind of like. I was never a rapper or a singer or anything, but I love the music. Yeah. I love the creativity. So I've done different things around it, and it actually led me to this because, I've done hosting, promoting, and things like that. And people's like, "Are you a comedian?" No. Oh, you have a show? No. You should. I was like, one day, and that was, I said one day just for the conversation, but I kept getting people in my inbox about it, and here we are. With Coach D. Stringer.
Hey.
You just said you married the star player, D1 player?
No, my coach is married to her.
Oh, your coach is married to her.
Yeah.
Okay. But I saw on your page that you're married as well.
I am married.
Okay. You sound very busy, so how does that work out?
So it's work-life balance.
Mm-hmm.
When we met, I was grinding. So you fall in love with that ambition. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. She didn't know anything about basketball, so shout out to my wife, Olivia Stringer. But she knew nothing about basketball, so I'm like, hey, I'm just going to show out, When we start talking, I'm like, I'm finna, be real smooth. I'm going to send her a video or something, somebody interviewing me. So I'm trying to be smooth, but she didn't know anything I was talking about. So she's like, what is it that you do? Like, okay,
what is this you sent me,
cool,
babe? What is this?
So I had her our first 2 years together. I had her at the gym like every week. I would go to work. I was a teacher for 7 years. I would go to work, and then I would coach college basketball, and then I would go train kids. So she would be with me every mile, like just walking and seeing the things I did. And then like this past year, I made her the GM of our teams, and she's probably more in love with the game than me. Like she'll be sitting on the couch like, okay, I'm watching Atlanta Dream. I don't think this play works, so we should try this play. And I'm like, okay, when I met you didn't know nothing about that. So, we just got back from Washington, D.C. for our anniversary and came back. She's like, what are we doing next? So she's invested, but it's not our everyday life. We still, have our dates. We still spend our time and do what we got to do. But when it's time for business, she's locking in with me.
That's good. It sounds to me like that helps the relationship.
Yeah.
A lot of times I see and have experienced where there's a couple and one of them have a love or passion for something, and the other one is like, why are you doing that? Or there's no money in that, or it's taking away so much time from us.
Yeah.
So y'all don't have that particular issue?
No, we've had it at the beginning, trying to adjust, understanding my life. Because this is my life, this is my passion. So at first it's like, okay, well, you need to take some time for me. Like, I want the summer next year. Like, if you're going to do this, you need to give me this. So we compromised, and we came to agreements of, like, what works for us.
Gotcha.
So now I know that if I'm doing a season, she's going to lock in for the season. But after the season, I got to dedicate all my time.
Yeah, you got to make up for that.
Yeah, so, I mean, it works out. I would say she's probably my backbone. A lot of things that I try to do, she helps me through it. Gotcha. So when my brain is going, I got a lot of ideas. She's like, hey, calm the hell down. We're going to do this, and then we're going to stop. So, yeah, she's very helpful for that.
How did you know she was the one? What made you say, you know what, we got to lock this in. We got to lock this down.
How did I know? Man, I knew maybe our first year together. Like every relationship, we got ups and downs. But the way that she loved me was different. The way she supported me, the way that she was attentive to my thoughts, my passion, all those things. She was just so genuine about it. I could tell that it was no games. I could tell she was real. And I think that's what sparked me, like, you know what? We live together, we travel together. We are acting as if we're married already. You know what I mean? So
let's do it.
I figured out, like, okay, if I want to keep being with her, if I want to keep growing, because I got goals in life, I want a family, I want to do these things. If I really want this and I want to invest the time, because I'm not just dating to date.
Right. Intentional.
So I was like, this is it. Like, I'm going to get this ring. I planned a dope engagement, took her to the botanical garden. She loved flowers. Took her there, brought everybody to the bushes, proposed. And from there, it was just, after that day, it just was like magic every day. It ain't stopped being
So how long you been married to
2 years. We were married 2 years as of the 14th of this month. And we've been together 4 years.
So 4 years in total? Mm-hmm. So this could be taken as a funny question. Mm-hmm. So in the alphabet community.
Yes.
Okay. LGBTQIA, MNOP, all that. Because, back in our days, it was just LGBT.
Absolutely.
And as time passed.
We got everything in there.
We want to include everybody, so I'm going to just say the alphabet.
Absolutely.
How long did you all date before moving in together?
So we were doing long distance at first.
Okay.
She was in Georgia. I was in Atlanta. Crazy thing, we met on Tinder. When I was traveling, so I swiped.
Okay, shout out to Tinder.
Yeah, we never
finding love.
We never swiped each other, which is the crazy part. We never swiped each other.
Mm-hmm.
There was a feature on there that you could pick one person at like 4 boxes, and I happened to put her box, but we never swiped each other. I've never seen her. We had our first date maybe 2 weeks after that. I flew to Atlanta, and we went on a double date. And I was like, I don't know if this gonna work. I don't know. And then, like, she was persistent, like, okay, I like you. I'm like, I like you too, like, whatever. Shortly after, I think I moved her down to St. Louis maybe 3 months later. Yeah, I moved her down to St. Louis. She stayed down there for, maybe a couple months. She came back home, kicked it for a minute. As she came back, she was there for she was there, so.
It's a running joke in the community about the U-Haul relationship. Yep. So, I have to ask. And also, I like to incorporate that into the interview because we have such a bad rap, the community itself.
Yeah.
And in every culture, there's that group of people that set the tone for the whole culture, and I hate that. I tell people all the time, I have 3 strikes against me. Mm-hmm. I'm black, I'm a woman, and then I'm gay.
Right.
But I want people to see past that.
Right.
And when they see what you're doing and what you've accomplished for not just yourself,
right,
for others, helping to keep people out of jail, giving the youth something to look forward to that's tangible, that's real. You're not just selling dreams. You did it and they can do it too type of situation.
Right.
And I want people to see that this has nothing to do with what we do. You shouldn't care that much about what somebody's doing in their own time.
Absolutely.
So much respect to you for that, living your life and, moving in a way that represents the community.
For sure.
I appreciate you for
that.
It
is definitely
We need
hard.
more of that as a black woman in general.
Right.
you
Absolutely.
know? So you said you taught for about 7 years? What subjects or what grades? That's probably, what grade did you teach?
Oh man, so I was a special education teacher.
Okay.
I've
That's a
taught
whole nother challenge.
I've taught everything from pre-K to 12th grade. And let me tell you something. After COVID, I said I can't do this no more. I would come into school. I would go to the bathroom.
'Cause these
kids were
kids
doing TikToks in the bathroom. Came to class, was sleep. Like COVID definitely changed the way education is. You know, the attention span, the wants, all this stuff. I said, you know, I clap my hands and I salute those who are still teaching. It's for the strong. It's not for the weak. But for me, you know, I did cherish the kids. Like every kid I worked with, again, so I was a special kid. I did IEPs. I was in those meetings. I was pushing in, pulling kids out. I did all those things, and I learned kids. I learned families. I seen a lot of good things. I seen a lot of bad things. But it definitely takes a lot on your mental, for sure. For sure.
See, we gonna leave this interview about you, but let's just say I understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
What level of education did you receive? Like, how far did you go?
So I just graduated with my second master's this past May.
Girl, your second, you just bragging now. You showing out.
My second master's.
Okay, say that. What was the first one? Let's start with the first one. She's talking about the second.
So my first one, I got a psychology, social work associate's degree. Then I got my bachelor's in psychology. Then I got my first master's in special education, and then my last master's in business administration.
How are you utilizing these degrees?
Every day, you know, psychologically, I'm talking to people every day. I'm trying to find breakthroughs, find ways to help with the youth and with these grown men and grown women. You know, with education, you gotta have education to pour into people. So every day, I'm learning people. I'm trying to figure out what works for them. I'm making strategies to help them. You know, and with business, I'm running a nonprofit that's been successful for almost 8 years. So everything's tied in and works together. You know, I work in marketing, so. With marketing, you still got to learn people. You got to figure out what they want to do.
Works how for that brand.
So everything's tied in. You know, I tell people all the time, it's hard to always talk about who I am because I got so many layers. So I just try to just make it as sweet and short as possible. Whatever you need to know, maybe I can do it, maybe I can't. You know, so it's a lot to talk about.
I just got my second. I almost got my first master's. Do that count?
Yes, it does. Education don't stop, man. You learn something every day. You know, you learn every day.
Life be life, and it was around COVID.
Yeah.
I stopped. Let me tell you how they got me.
Oh.
So this particular class, you know, when you have a grace period to cancel or drop a class. Mm-hmm. I logged in one time, y'all, and these people was billing me. You won't get that money.
After one time?
I logged in one time. I could see charging me maybe half because that's a slot that someone could have had, but to charge me full price for a class, I never did.
That's crazy.
I still want to, though. You know, The system is the system.
Right.
Sometimes you just got to take that L, but that's what it was for me. So mine was in clinical counseling. So
really?
Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Look at that. Look at that. So you said mom's got you in basketball a while back.
Yeah.
And you developed the love for it to the point that it kept you in the game. It got you through college. Somewhat two masters, y'all. We gonna keep throwing that in there. I just want y'all to know it's doable. And she did all this wild experience in life because people, we experience so many trials and tribulations. Like life be lifing out here. Like the world is jacked up.
For sure.
I don't even like scrolling too much because there's so much craziness going on.
Absolutely.
But sometimes you gotta step back from that and focus on you.
Yeah.
What does that look like for you?
That's a good question. I think day in and day out, I still try to figure that out because my brain don't stop.
I could tell just how you talk.
It don't stop. I do try to take days to do a mental day for myself.
You got to.
You know, maybe soaking my feet in the house, you know what I mean, or watching a movie or try to watch, binge watch something at the house. But for me, peace is just sitting still. And for me, I don't sit still a lot. So when I am sitting still and I'm taking it all in, I can finally then see my accomplishments or see the things that I've achieved because a lot of times I don't see what I'm doing. Yeah. You know, I hear a lot of people be like, congratulations, you did this. And I'm like, I ain't did enough. There's more to do. So
what's your sign?
I'm an Aries.
Okay.
Yeah,
and what's your birthday?
April 9th.
April 24th.
Okay.
Let me find out. I got a twin in the world.
Listen. Got just a about Aries and Taurus. So
yeah. Taurus. We my brothers are Aries, so I I already know how that's going.
Yeah.
Mom in the background, like, yeah.
Yeah, my mom is Aries and my wife is a Taurus. So
Okay, I love
yeah.
wife already.
Yeah,
Girl,
she
see,
a Taurus.
Taurus, Bull Nation. I understand you, girl.
Yeah, that's her.
So, wife's a Taurus, mom's a Aries, you're Aries. What is the compatibility and what are the challenges?
I'm emotional. I'm also headstrong.
Bulls are too now, so I can imagine
She's
that's
very
the challenge
headstrong.
as well.
She's quick to be like, okay, I'm solution based. I'm someone that likes to sit in it for a minute and try to talk through it out, talk through it out, talk through it out. So sometimes our solution based are different, but our desire to want to do something, whatever it is very passionate as well.
Gotcha.
So it's not too much that we differ with. Our love language is different. You know, my love
Gotcha.
language is acts of service, and hers words is words of affirmation. So
I'm glad that you even know that.
yeah.
All right, so I have one last question that I feel is probably, I'm not going to say the most important, but
Yeah.
do you feel like you're walking in your purpose?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I say it because, again, it goes back to me. I want to be what I didn't have growing up. And those are opportunities. Those are mentors. That's people that's pointing to you. Now, I had a village. I had a great village. But the amount that these kids now need,
Yeah, it's different. It's definitely different.
I want to make an impact wherever I am. If I'm not making an impact, I shouldn't be there.
That's
So I think
powerful.
everything I do is necessary.
So to close it out, tell the people something that you want them to know and then remind them where they could follow you and how they can support your organization.
Okay. Which camera am I looking at? This one? This one? Okay, cool. I want everybody to know that there's opportunity in the world, whether it's, through sports, through education. Find people that's going to pour into you. Don't just bring anybody to your table, man. Everybody want a seat, but everybody can't bring something that's going to be valuable. Don't just let everybody eat off you. Don't let anybody just take your ideas or be a part of your brand. Be conscious of who you let in your circle, why you let them in your circle, and who you pouring into. So again, I'm Coach Stringer. I thank you for letting me be here on your
I love it.
on your stadium, on your platform. And y'all can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. My website is www.actiononmerch.com. You can find me on Instagram. I have a lot of things on there that you guys can enjoy, from videos and posts. I got an event coming up November. Just had a great 1v1 showcase for the community. I was able to give 5 kids free memberships for recruitment. So please look into the nonprofit, man.